I have been working with 5-MeO DMT this past week, the God molecule, and I have been working with it every single day, and it is a very intimate, intense process, a deep opening, a deep awakening, a deep revelation. So I want to share my process, what's been going on for the past week, and how it came about that I went on this journey, and how all of these little steps were going with this beautiful, beautiful molecule, the 5-MeO DMT. Let's take a talk together and tap into this space so we can unite here throughout this beautiful little video. Holding it. Usually I'm holding it longer, but for the purpose of this video, that was enough. It's the 1 to 12 vape pens. I'll go more into the vape pen mechanisms in a bit, but I can immediately feel my heartbeat increasing and my awareness kind of like centering. As always, we're gonna start with a little song. Even though it feels like 5-MeO DMT is more related to Shiva and to the father, I would still like to sing a song for the mother, for Devi, because she is showing us the way out of all duality, through this ocean of chaos and change. Devi, 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 Jagan Mohini. Devi, 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 Jagan Mohini. Chandrika Devi, Chamundan Harini. Chandrika Devi, Chandamunda Harini. Chamundeshwari Ambike Devi. Devi, 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 Jagan Mohini. Devi, 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 Jagan Mohini. Chandrika Devi, Chandramunda Harini. Chandrika Devi, Chandamunda Harini. Chamundeshwari Ambike Devi. Devi, 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 Jagan Mohini. Devi, 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 Jagan Mohini. Chandrika Devi, Chandramunda Harini. Chandrika Devi, Chandramunda Harini. Chamundeshwari Ambike Devi. Devi, 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 Jagan Mohini. Devi, all praise to the mother, and also praise to the father, and praise to the one that is beyond the father and the mother, the absolute which unites the two. Hello, Kali. How is everyone? Yeah, how is everyone? Give a little hello in the chat, and let's get the conversation going. By the way, just as a side note, I just have about an hour left, maybe a bit more, then I'll have to jump off to our first Psychedelic Actualization Path to Purpose community call. I'm so excited for this, where we're gonna actually tap into the space together and work through what's present for everyone. If you're curious about joining that call and jumping off from this one into an actual live conversation, then there's links in the video description. First one is to book a call with me so we can discuss your joining of the community, or second one is the link to join the community directly so you can actually participate in the call today. I'll leave that link in the chat as well. That prize is, by the way, never to be seen again. It's just going to be there for the first 5 to 10 members. And for now, it's going to be a very intimate experience, as we're just going to be very few people in that call. So it's a lot of personalized guidance and attention from me and from the other members. So that's going to be beautiful. Kali's saying, your song reminded me of Koravaka, if you know them. Yes, I love Koravaka. So how did this come about, this 5-MeO DMT journey that I went on? So basically, I was feeling very disaligned. I'll have to say, I felt very, very disaligned over the past few, I'm not sure, weeks, days, weeks, maybe even months. There has been something has been kind of like accumulating within me. And I was very much overwhelmed by doubts and by overthinking and this excitement with sharing this masterclass that I uploaded recently, and the community is launched, and it's like, whoa, my mind is going just absolutely crazy. And I've been, over the past few months and weeks, also very much in control and in this like pendulum between letting go and reconsidering and letting God and being guide me, and then again planning, doing my 12-week goals, weekly plans and goal setting, and it's like achieving, and it was wild, kind of like that experience. And then also in between there were all my like health challenges and issues which were and are still present in all of this, which have also kind of like hold me back from going into psychedelic space too much. And all of this was present, and it got to a point where I'm like, okay, this is too much. Like, I felt too disaligned, too unclear, uncertain, and well, what do I do? Like, when I do feel that overwhelming sense of confusion, usually I consult myself with the help of a psychedelic. To look deeper within. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a big journey, and I'm gonna properly prepare for it, plan it out in a couple of weeks, and then combine it maybe with a meditation or a darkroom retreat. And I decided upon LSD. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a very high dose LSD journey, maybe like 400 or 500 micrograms, and I'm gonna go into the LSD space. That was kind of like calling me. I was like, okay, that's gonna be a bit ahead. I still want to prepare a bit before I go into that experience. And then somehow I was like, wait a second, like I could even start to experiment a little bit now with maybe a few lower doses and a little bit of a different substance on what's present, what I have available, what's calling me. Maybe try a new substance, just play around a little bit. Maybe even microdose, microdose LSD, mushrooms, amanita, whatever. And then I was like, whoa, I have these 5-MeO DMT vape pens, and they have been collecting dust. Like, honestly, they have been collecting loads of dust. Why do they have been collecting dust? Well, I don't know if you followed through on my journey of this channel, but basically I would say it was over a year ago, definitely. It was September 2023, probably. You can go back in my channel and see the trip reports. But during that time, I felt the desire to go into 5-MeO DMT breakthrough experience, and had my first MDMA experience. It's a whole story in and of itself. There's lots of controversy around this, I know. But I decided to go into 3 breakthrough attempts with the 5-MeO DMT during a high dose MDMA experience, and that catapulted me into a 3, 4, 5 month spiritual crisis. what people might call dark night of the soul, Kundalini energy awakening, spiritual emergency, psycho-spiritual crisis. It was intense. I felt like I was completely losing sense of myself, very dissociated, going through lots of fear, just basically not coming back from that 5-MeO DMT experience. And that woke me up and said like, okay, unfortunately it was my responsibility, and it like muddied the experience that it was a combination of these two substances, which I do not recommend anybody do. It's like, I know there's controversy surrounding this, but I can't recommend it to anybody, as it was a very destabilizing experience, and we don't even know if it's physically safe. There might be a potential for serotonin syndrome, which can lead to physical death. So yeah, take that for what you will. But basically that experience shook me so much that, well, also this like physical sickness began during that time. And but I was like, okay, wow, like I have got no idea on the power of these toys that I'm playing with here. Like it's a serious business. Like especially with the 5-MeO DMT, it's feels like it's on a whole different ball game than many other psychedelics. It's a very unique substance. I mean, you can get far out with many other substances as well, but this is just like and what I hear in this space, what I see in this space, how it looks like people having intense energetic releases just during the experience. And also I've heard, like, if I've heard from difficult, challenging times after psychedelic experience, it has been lots of the times it has been 5-MeO DMT. So yeah, it's a very interesting molecule to play with. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and just slowly feel my way into some 5-MeO DMT experiences with meditation, in conjunction to meditation, as an evening meditation. I just would like to explore it. Also, on another side note, you can also watch a DMT vape pen life trip report on my channel. It's one of the most popular videos, actually. You can look for it. It's called First 5-MeO DMT Vape Pen Life Experience. I played around with these vape pens for the first time, and they're very interesting. You know, it's especially, there's like two, I don't know, or many different layers to the 5-MeO DMT experience, but many people distinguish between everything below a breakthrough and a full release dose, basically, and then the full release breakthrough experience, which is, and there's the clear difference between those two. And back then, when I played around with these vape pens, and I smoked the low to medium doses, it was interesting, I would say. It was fascinating to a certain degree, but it wasn't really like giving me anything. I wasn't even particularly enjoying it. I was like, okay, something is happening. I feel energy moving, but like, or sometimes I am also like a bit out of my body, a bit into the body, but it was not very euphoric, healing, or like blissful. None of these things. So it's like, well, okay, like I enjoy the breakthrough DMT, 5-MeO DMT experience much more than the just low to medium doses. And those low to medium doses, I don't even know what to do with them. I don't even care about them. I don't enjoy them, and they're not for me. So that was kind of like my conclusion from over a year ago, where I played around with these vape pens for the first time. And so now when I connected with this vape pen, also I had some recreational experiences back then, which were interesting, fascinating, and even enjoyable, which is another story for another time, I would say, like smoking 5-MeO DMT in low to medium doses at festivals. And yeah, also interesting conversation. Like please hold your judgment, as it's a very interesting conversation on the respect and the sacredness, you know, of this substance and of this molecule, and how to use it responsibly and respectfully. So yeah, it is a very fascinating one. But now my intention was just to use a little bit of a low dose for meditation. So my evening meditation, I was sitting there with this vape pen. First of all, I was doing my meditation by itself. Now, as I was kind of like tapping into this space, I just definitely noticed in my meditations that the mind is quieting down. Right? There's a deeper realization, a deeper tapping into this presence. Beautiful. And I liked it. I liked it as a facilitation for my meditation. Not to say that I will always connect the meditation to the 5-MeO DMT. That's a very crucial kind of aspect to it. I would always do, for example, my morning meditations without the 5-MeO DMT. But I started to use it at the end of the day. And then the next day I was like, well, that was nice. I could probably do that again. So I smoked the 5-MeO DMT again in my evening meditation. And again, I had a very beautiful experience. Just like really coming into the body, feeling that energy, feeling that embodied presence. And it felt very welcoming and kind. And then at the same time I was like, okay, hey, this is interesting, this, I don't know why this is happening, but I feel drawn to maybe go a little bit deeper with this substance right now. So I think it was on the second or third day, like the days are kind of like a little bit washy and what happened when. But when I got to the third day, I was like, okay, I might want to go a bit deeper and not just use the 1 to 12. So there's different strength for explanation. Regarding the vape pens, kind of like mixed the 5-MeO DMT with the vape substance or whatever that is, and then basically there's a ratio. So like for 1 gram of 5-MeO DMT, there's going to be 12 milliliters of this substance or whatever. That's like the 1 to 12. I think that was the right explanation. I'm not quite sure. It's been a while since I made them. And then basically the 1 to 4 is, okay, 1 gram of 5-MeO DMT on 4 milliliters of that substance. And the 1 to 2 is 1 gram on 2 milliliters. So you see the substance is like, there's an increase in potency in these vape pens. So the 1 to 4 is much stronger than the 1 to 12. It takes you into a different level of experience. So I was like, okay, I was looking at this 1 to 4 pen and I was like, let's try this out. Also regarding the smoking, it also depends a bit on like the strength with which you inhale and then the length. These vape pens that I have, they go up to like 11 seconds. And then if you're curious, you can even calculate like the dosage on what kind of level of 5-MeO DMT you are at, like vaguely. But overall, I tapped into it a little bit of a deeper space. Again with the meditation. One interesting observation was I did it before sleep. So at the end of the day, right before sleep, and I had, well, at least some days, other days maybe not so much, but usually I would say I had no difficulties sleeping after the 5-MeO DMT. Even with the 1 to 4 DMT vape pens, I was noticing almost like a similarity to my evening meditation and deep sleep. I was like, that's very interesting. Sometimes I would just really tap into the deeper layers of this presence, of this meditation, where there was no thought anymore, and where also there was not even a me anymore, or just very like just presence. And even a step further, maybe even sometimes I would just be absorbed into that space, what the Buddhists call absorption states. You get absorbed into deeper and deeper layers of this infinite nothingness. And to a certain degree, it felt like, okay, I was not conscious anymore. I was like, whew, I was out, basically. which is very similar to deep sleep. So by the end of the experience, by the end of the meditation, I would even go a little bit on during the come down. I would still lay down on my Shakti mat. You know this mat right here. It's a Shakti mat. It's like these very spiky nails which you can lay on, and I do that every single night. By the way, every single night I'm lying on this mat, and it's very beautiful. It's very good for your body. Actually, I don't know if I can pull this up, but actually you can buy one with my affiliate link. I created one like when I crafted my spiritual emergency workbook that got born out of 5-MeO DMT spiritual emergency. Basically, there's a link in the chat right now. It's Bed of Nails. That's the one that I'm affiliated with, and yeah, you can buy yourself a mat. Highly recommend it. It's one of the, like, I have very few items in my space, and very few items that are not plants or decoration, basically. And one of the things I really use lots of the times is the Shakti mat. This little mat right there. Highly recommend that you buy one. Very fascinating item. Very good item. But even in the evening meditations, and then afterwards, I would still feel the 5-MeO DMT in my system. I would still feel the experience, but I would lie down on this mat and then basically relax into sleep. Relax into just like this deep relaxation and this deep sleep. So yeah, even in combination with sleep and during the evening meditation, I found these experiences to be quite wonderful and helpful. Let me check up with the chat. Ralps is saying, where can I get this pen? So the pen itself you can order online. I forgot the brand name. I'm sorry. I'll share the brand name maybe some other time. But you can basically see vape pens. And then how you do, like, I cannot share how you get the substance, the 5-MeO DMT. There is places in the world where you can order it legally. You could have ordered it in the Netherlands, but I think they're banning it now and putting it out. There's a little bit of a gray zone. Portugal is kind of like a bit loose with drug regulations, but no possibility to order it there. And Canada, I've heard. Canada is a place where you can order 5-MeO DMT online. Legally. Otherwise, I cannot give any advice regarding any illegal behavior, but what has worked very well for me is to go out. And also, don't be shy to travel. Go out into spaces where you know that psychedelic people hang out. For example, psychedelic conferences, psychedelic festivals, psychedelic meetups, integration circles, psychedelic society, ayahuasca retreats, and just meet people. Without the expectation of getting the substance, but just meet people and build your network. I'm going to be traveling to the UK probably this year for Breaking Convention. Again, it's a psychedelic conference, and I know that there's going to be invaluable connections that come with this. And regarding the sourcing, I mean, I can't say anything, but probably maybe some people know regarding the sourcing. So you don't have to go through the stress of ordering it online and dealing with all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's regarding that question. And then there's if you have the substance and if you have the pen, there's an guide on Aerovid, which is called Jaguar Vape Pens from what was the name? Jaguar Vape Pens from Grace Within. Grace Within wrote a guide on Aerovid or DMT Nexus, I think both, and explained the process of crafting these vape pens for yourself. So yeah, as Carly is saying, careful, can't get you banned from doing this live. Yes, just for YouTube, this is not a 5-MeO DMT vape pen. This is just a usual vape pen with just e-liquid peach flavor. So yeah, careful with sharing it live. Yeah, I've recorded some of the more intense sessions that have then followed, and actually I'm contemplating with sharing them here on this channel, but otherwise the full experiences are going to be in the Psychedelic Actualization Path to Purpose community. So in the community there's going to be a classroom section, and there's going to be exclusive live trips with full-length trip reports, and also showing the consumption of these substances and sharing the whole experience as exclusive content, as I can't share them here anymore. So if you're curious about that, come join our community. It's a great place to be, honestly. It's a great place to be. Hans is saying you're the master of 5-MeO DMT vape pen. I wouldn't say so. I'm at the very beginning of my 5-MeO DMT journeying and of my explorations with that vape pen. Nowhere close to be a master. I don't know if there is even a master. It's an incredible space. Hello user, hello shaman in chat, hello. Welcome everybody. I'm happy that you're all here and that you're all watching. I deeply appreciate you being here. So, to continue the story, I basically was upping the dose every once in a while. And then even on like day 4, maybe, or 5, I was noticing that I even went into that space like a couple times a day. And it just, I felt a little bit of an opening, and I felt also a little bit of a calling to go a bit deeper, to journey a bit further. So what happened then? I think there has been there were about three very, very deep openings. Probably. 3 experiences where I went in with the 1 to 2 dosing. Which is, for me, basically, I feel like I have a little bit of a tolerance to it. As I calculated it, the 1 to 2, like 1 or 2 big tokes should get me to a full release breakthrough experience, but I haven't fully gotten there. But I was amazed by how opening, how healing, how awakening, how insightful these experiences were. Absolutely beautifully insightful and opening. And especially right now, that's why I went into this process over and over again, and I continued every day with my usage of the 5-MeO DMT, is that I'm in this transitioning phase basically of my life. And it relates to these insights of the 5-MeO DMT experience, where basically the core insight is that if I want to live my purpose, if I want to live my truth, I want to do it from a place of embodied, authentic presence in the moment. And this sensation, this term of embodied presence, embodied authentic presence, is very nuanced. It's deeper than it seems. So somehow the 5-MeO DMT, for example, let's just say my first deeper experience where I went in quite far, where it's like I could notice there's like levels to this thing, and there I could notice I was crossing a certain threshold where it was deeply opening, and I was entering into a different space for sure. It showed me that, like, with everything I have tried so far, with all that I have planned and all that I have tried to do, I could not achieve anything. Let that sink in. I was like, I'm trying and trying. That's how I feel like, or felt like the last few weeks especially. Like I was like, I'm trying and trying. I'm trying so hard. I've been trying for months and years, like to build something up, to make something happen, to like finally, I'm trying and trying. And it's like, it showed me that I can't do it. Like, no matter how much I do, no matter how much I try, I can't do it. I can't do it on my own. So the process then is that I'll have to let it go. I have to surrender. I have to let myself go. 5-MeO DMT is known for its beautiful pointing to selflessness, to that experience of no self. And then as I was journeying into this space where I felt that I was giving myself up, that I was giving up control, that I was giving up this trying, and I was just present, I could feel this divine energy force, consciousness, the flow of life, the Tao flowing through me, God and love working through me automatically, in embodied presence, grounded in the moment, grounded in the present experience of my life, in this body, in this mind. But really letting that sense of self go, letting that sense of planning and trying and pressuring and hurrying and structuring and then judging and regretting, letting all of that go, leaving that behind, and really just living my purpose, living every day, every moment from this place of embodied presence. And it was a huge release. It was a humongous release. An energetic release, also a very liberating experience. I was like, I don't have to do anything anymore. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to achieve anything. I don't have to try to push or control everything. Oh man, how freeing, how liberating that is. I think it was Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching, as he kind of like talked about this principle in Taoism of the Wu Wei, of this doing by being, this quietude in the doing, this basically not doing anything. He said that the Tao, I'm paraphrasing, the Tao doesn't have to do anything and yet everything is accomplished. Or nature doesn't have to do anything, but yet everything gets accomplished. So do we not have to do anything, but just to surrender to that flow of life and of consciousness, and everything will get accomplished. And that doesn't mean, in my experience of the past few days, it doesn't mean that I don't do anything. Because counterintuitively, I have actually done more. I have actually worked more effectively by not trying to work. I have created more authentically, with much more depth and much more flow and effortlessness. So still very much in the doing. Still very much in the embodied presence of my life, not escaping to that higher, blissful, unitive state of consciousness. But then I took that state of opening and liberation and realization and insight as a deep reminder. And I know that this cracking open of the heart and this quieting down of the mind, it's not a process that happens from one day to the next. It just doesn't. In between, I was still like noticing a day where I was in my mind, I was lost in thoughts, I was doubting again, I was like, what am I doing, and how can I control, and how can I achieve, and how can I hurry, and how can I accomplish, right? So it's natural to fall back into that state, absolutely natural. But to really accelerate and make use of that transformation and that opening that is occurring for me at the moment, I decided to even though I felt intimidated and a bit like scared and like respectful towards that higher dose experience, I was like, I'm gonna go in again the next day and the next day. At least for a week, I was like, I'll complete this week of 5 MEO DMT experiences. It fits beautifully into your day, you know. It's like a 15 to 30 minute experience when you vape the vape pens. I mean, you can make it a longer session in when you vape just a little bit more and you continue to just hold a bit that peak, or you peek into that otherworldly out of body experience, and you come back and you peek into it again by smoking a bit more. So there's room to play around with this. But usually I was just going in for this briefer moment, is tapping in with these lower dose vape pens, feeling into the space, feeling into myself, and then going in with the higher dose vape pens. And really experiencing that opening. And I think then yesterday it was where I had another opening. Just a beautifully private one without the camera. There's an influence when the camera is on, definitely, I can see. But I went in again and had an ever more deeply, it takes me to deeper layers. So hard to put into words, to put into language the experience that I was unfolding. But again, it came back to that embodied presence, pure embodied presence. Letting go of structures, letting go of control, letting my excitement guide the way. Follow your bliss, as Joseph Campbell said. Or following your highest excitement. I think it was Bashar that went into this notion that you shall follow your highest excitement on every single occasion and every single moment. And still I feel this lingering sensation that the patterns of my mind are still trying to hold on to certain structures and to certain goals and to certain beliefs, that if I don't control my life, if I don't control my actions, if I don't set achievable, measurable goals, then I'm not gonna progress towards my purpose. But and obviously I did a post about it today. Everything is about balance. It's all about balance. It's all also about integration, and it's about not swinging that pendulum too far into one end or to the other, right? But I have been too far into the pendulum, the side of the pendulum where I was forcing and struggling and pressuring and pushing, and actually led to a certain little kind of burnout experience, as the mushrooms showed me before I went to Madagascar. By the way, the Madagascar videos are still going to be coming. Those are going to be awesome. And then basically I went to Madagascar. I traveled to Madagascar as an integration of that mushroom experience, where I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I can't push anymore. And then after I came back, Madagascar was just a chaotic, pure, funny, like crazy, insightful, otherworldly experience in and of itself. But as I came back, I fell back into the pushing. I fell back into the trying to achieve something, try to work harder and faster, and not enjoyable. Absolutely not enjoyable. So now I am taking this experience and I'm pulling my life into the other spectrum of that pendulum. Namely, letting go of goals, letting go of control, letting go of myself, my agenda, my selfishness, letting go of plans and structures, and really feeling into the moment on what's my authentic desire in the moment. Like, what does my spirit really want to do? What am I called to do? And if that's reading, that's reading. If that's going out, which I did also this week, which was wonderful. I went out to a Psychedelic Society meetup to a city which was close by. Well, it's a 2-hour drive, but it was worth it, absolutely, to just meet these people. Went to an ecstatic dance. It was actually immediately after one of my breakthrough experiences, or not breakthrough, but higher dose experiences, opening experiences. I was like sitting in the tram outside in the city, like on a Saturday evening, still like loaded on 5-MeO DMT. I was like, okay, I was a bit, I don't know, I'm a bit in an open state here, but I couldn't drive my car, so I was like in the tram. They wanted to come too late to their ecstatic dance, but I wasn't expecting them such a deep 5-MeO DMT experience. Yeah, and so I want to try to really tune in and see, like, okay, I open myself, I surrender. God, what do you want me to do? Like, literally, what do you want me to do? And the integration of that is not easy. It's like, it's a fascinating integration. I mean, I can't live off of that state of the 5-MeO DMT all the time, but these powerful reminders and ever deeper openings were powerful reminders. Once a day to go like, boom, this is what I'm here for, and this is what I want to move forward with. This energetic state of being. And then mind is coming in again and again and again. And the question remains, and I still haven't answered it. How do I integrate it? How do I fully surrender? How do I stop worrying? Still, if health problems are arising, still if there's a little bit of a financial tightness, how am I surrendering into that? Right? How can I trust more? How can I trust that I'm provided for? How can I trust that if my authentic flow of consciousness is guiding me towards a completely different path, which might not involve all my plans and goals and strategies, then what do I do? Like, am I good with letting go, for example, of this YouTube channel, of online work? Am I letting, like, these are considerations. But that again is a worry. That again is a thought, which is judging and planning and looking ahead and fearing, you know. And as Terence McKenna said, worry is preposterous. We don't have a right to worry. Or actually, he said it was from somebody else, either I Ching. Or also, I was reading a quote today from, who was it? It was Nisargadatta. He said, "Do not worry. It is a waste of intellect and energy. Spontaneously, everything is happening in God, through God, and by God." That's it. Spontaneously, everything is happening in God, through God, by God. Worrying is a waste. I think another quote that I read today was, "You are not your mind. when you realize that you are not your mind, what difference does it make if it's a busy mind or a quiet mind? Oh, how freeing. Have you noticed that all of your problems in life come from yourself? Honestly, look at your experience. Look at your experience and see, where is that suffering coming from? Where is that pain coming from? Where is that sensation of struggling or like tensing up and pushing coming from? What's the root of it? What's the root of your suffering? I have found for myself that it always comes back to this sense of me, to this sense of I. All of my problems, see, even that phrasing, my problems, are coming from that me. Because if that me, if that I is dissolving, then there's no problems anymore, honestly. I read it today in the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. It resonated deeply with me during and after the 5 MEO DMT experiences. When I read it, I was reading it like sober for a longer time, and then sometimes if I'm really like in my head and in my mind, I'm reading the scripture, and I'm like, I don't know what they're saying. This seems a bit like, I don't know. And then when I'm reading that scripture, the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, from a place of like heightened consciousness, deep awareness, deep presence, deep feeling, also deep embodiment of that embodied presence, and this really like present state of being, this open state of being, I find it's one of the fascinating, most touching, poetic descriptions of truth that I have found so far. It's still a bit like the phrasing of Guru Nanak is a bit like, I don't know, but for sure, I read today where is it? There is it. Through the word of the Guru's Shabad, the Gurmukh remains dead while yet alive, and swims across the terrifying world ocean. This is it. It's this sensation of dying before dying, remaining dead while yet alive. Remaining dead while yet alive. Let's read a bit more from the Guru, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And hey, DMT Infinity, good to see you here. Just to give you a sense and a feel for this scripture and how and why it, maybe you get a sense as well as you feel into these words on how and why it relates to the 5 MEO DMT experience. It's closely related, as it's quite often just talking to the absolute. Serving the true Guru, the mind becomes immaculate and the body becomes pure. The mind obtains bliss and eternal peace, meeting with the deep and profound Lord. Sitting in the Sangat, the true congregation, the mind is comforted and consoled by the true name. O mind, serve the true Guru without hesitation. Serving the true Guru, the Lord abides within the mind, and no trace of filth shall attach itself to you. From the true word of the Shabbat comes honor. True is the name of the True One. I am a sacrifice to those who conquer their ego and recognize the Lord. The self-willed manmugs do not know the True One. They find no shelter and no place to rest anywhere. Those who take the truth as their food and the truth as their clothing have their home in the True One. They constantly praise the True One, and in the true word of the Shabbat they have their dwelling. They recognize the Lord, the Supreme Soul in all, and through the Guru's teachings they dwell in the home of their own inner self. They see the truth and they speak the truth. Their bodies and minds are true. True are their teachings, and true are their instructions. True are the reputations of the True Ones. Those who have forgotten the True One are miserable. They depart weeping and wailing. Those who have not served the True Guru, why did they even bother to come into the world? They are bound and gagged and beaten at death's door, but no one hears their shrieks and cries. It's a bit extreme, right? It's brutal. They waste their lives uselessly. They die and are reincarnated over and over again. Seeing this world on fire, I rushed to the sanctuary of the True Guru. The True Guru has implanted the truth within me. I dwell steadfastly in truth and self-restraint. The True Guru is the boat of truth. In the word of the Shabbat, we cross over the terrifying world ocean. People continue wandering through the cycle of 8.4 million incarnations. Without the True Guru, liberation is not obtained. Reading and studying, the Pandits and the silent sages have grown weary, but attached to the love of duality, they have lost their honor. The True Guru teaches the word of the Shabbat. Without the True Guru, there is no other at all. Those who are linked by the True One are linked to truth. They always act in truth. They attain their dwelling in the home of their own inner being, and they abide in the mansion of truth. O Nanak, the devotees are happy and peaceful forever. They are absorbed in the true name. Okay. How did that feel? The Siri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Even I could still notice again this deep, like almost like my mind saying like, no, this is a bit extreme. Like this is crazy what they're talking about. Right? This burning of the self, being doomed in hell forever if you're not completely merged with the True One. All this talk of the True Guru, like what does all of this mean, right? And I don't have an answer. I don't really know what it means. But what it feels like for me with these 5 MEO DMT vape pens is that somehow they do act like the True Guru, right? It's a bit of a statement, right? It's up to debate, up to discussion, up to interchanging of perspectives. But it does feel like that through this substance, through the 5 MEO DMT, we are meeting the True Guru, which ultimately is no other than ourselves, right? There is no separation. This is what the True Guru is showing. There is no duality. There is only the Absolute. There is only truth. And through that we merge with the Lord. We come to the Lord. We merge with truth. Truth is a very interesting term. I have noticed in all of my experiences as well. Especially today. Today I had my deepest 5 MEO DMT experience. Not ever, but in this past week I prepared for and planned to break through, to have this full release experience. And I took the 1 to 2 vape pen, and I smoked a little bit of the 1 to 4 beforehand, and then 2 very, very deep hits of the 1 to 2. And it did bring me into a full experience, into a full, complete release and opening. Still not into the breakthrough realm where everything gets transcended, but far into that kind of space. And another realization from all of these experiences is the truth, right? What I mean by embodied presence is also an embodied truth, right? It's that you open yourself up to be the embodiment of your own truth, of truth in general. Basically, there's nothing that you can do to separate from that truth, but there seems to be stories and layers of the mind and of ignorance in which we are attached to and fall into, that make us believe that we are separate, that make us believe that we are lost in illusion. Right? It goes back to that whole discussion that I shared in the masterclass recently. If you haven't watched the masterclass about psychedelic use, I highly recommend that you go and watch it. It's called Psychedelics Are Not a Magic Pill. I'll post the link here in the chat. There we went deeper into the dissolving of the distinction between truth and illusion, between real and fake. Because ultimately that is what the absolute is demonstrating. It's like it's inescapable. I read today in one of the talks from a Zen master. He said, but duality itself is also absolute. So are the bodhisattva's actions. We talk about things as if one thing is relative and another is absolute, but in fact, there is no such thing as absolute or relative. Such distinctions exist only in our thoughts. So when we have pain or struggles, our suffering itself is absolute. All our actions are absolute. But when we talk about something as being absolute, then it is relative to something else. Right? The inherent nature, the inherent dual nature of language itself. This is not the absolute, it is just an idea. Ideas are always relative, dualistic in subject and object, in opposition to this I, what we call my or me. Right? This was from Taizan Mezumi Roshi. Beautiful. I like to read the Zen teachings every single day. Beautiful reminders. This book is called Appreciate Your Life. It's not too simple, but it's also not too advanced. It's a great book about Zen practice. Yeah. And I guess to close this off, if there's any questions regarding all of these 5 MEO DMT experiences, please put them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. As Kali was asking, is it dangerous to use psychedelics every day for a week? I mean, it depends on what you would call dangerous. It depends on the dosage. It depends on the substance. It depends on your present experience of life, where you are at, right? So it can be, well, what is dangerous, right? It can be, if you get into irresponsible territory, you can harm your body. Maybe it's if you go into lots of LSD sessions, for example, high dose LSD sessions. It could be just an energetic overload for your body. It might be right? I don't know, right? It's like if you're gonna be at your job, but you take psychedelics every day for a week, maybe you are in your ability to do the actions required to excel at your job might suffer from that. So in that sense, it might be dangerous if your job is depending on it. Same if you've got a child that you got to take care of or whatever else, right? So it depends on your life situation, depends on what you would call dangerous, and it depends on the way of your protocol, on what you actually are doing. So with the 5-MeO DMT, for example, it's a very quick, short experience, and it didn't feel dangerous, but definitely I was considering, and I'm gonna talk to my own coach about it, on like, okay, where is that line? Where is that line, and how do I not fall into a certain kind of addiction, dependency on bliss states, or how do I actually do my integration? When am I going too far? When is it too much? James Orrock, in his book Tryptamine Palace, where he talked a lot about the 5-MeO DMT experience, was saying like, okay, after he went in to the breakthrough 5-MeO DMT experience several times a week for an extended period of time, he was like, he was not concerned with his body anymore. He was just floating above, basically, and not really giving his body the care that it required, but being lost in these like lofty spiritual consciousness expanding states a little bit. So sure, it requires responsibility, consideration, and there are definitely dangers and traps involved in jumping into such an experience. But yeah, as Island Thunder said, life is dangerous. Everything is dangerous. Driving a car is dangerous. Just being outside nearby a street is dangerous. I don't know, flying in an airplane is dangerous. But overall, psychedelics are also dangerous. There's great dangers involved. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, some of the most detrimental and difficult and challenging crises that emerged after psychedelic space from people that I know have been consequences and after effects of 5-MeO DMT experiences. So there's always risk involved. There's always a consideration that you're gonna, you're tapping into the unknown. That's what's so scary about it. That's what is requiring the courage. Joelada Mas, hello, good to see you here. But don't people do the same thing in their everyday work and play, becoming this associated with the individual form for the experience? Yeah, that's what people do. So ultimately, right, I would like to embody this selfless, aligned, embodied presence and truth, and this authentic flow in every single state of experience, even in my work, even in everything, right, in relationships, in my exercise. And really, this is what it's all about, right? That we're just here. Like, wake up, be here, experience it. You can't escape experience, you can't escape awareness, but you're here. Appreciate that fact. Appreciate the fact that you are here right now. Another thing that the 5-MeO has taught me over the past week is just like how much I still am living in the future, basically. I'm living in an imaginable, I'm living in imaginable images and an imaginable life that I project out in the future. So much so, I've done that over the past few years that I forgot to live here now. Well, not necessarily, not always, but oversimplified. I was realizing how much my mind has the tendency to be drawn into the future. Even just like moments, right? Even like during the end of the 5-MeO DMT experience today, I was like, oh, I gotta share this. Oh, I gotta share this. I gotta, when I will do this, when I will do that, then I will do, this is how it's gonna play out. Stop it. I had to stop myself. I had to get my rattle. Shake that off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. All these thoughts. That's why I love the rattle. It brings you into presence. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. You can literally do that with me right now. You can physically shake it off. If you're too much in your mind, if you're too much in your thoughts, like literally go stand up, you know, tap your body maybe a little bit. My roommate showed me that recently again, reminded me of that, and then shake it off, you know, just like really, you can be silly. Nobody's watching. Well, now people are watching me. It's like, shake it off. Heavy vibrations. Get into your body. And then feel the vibrations, this presence, this embodiment. It's here. We're here. Let's stay here. The breath is another wonderful tool which can support us in this journey of deepening our presence, really being fully present. It's the practice of continuous breath awareness. Whenever you notice yourself being lost in thought, come back to the breath. Maybe go out so you get some fresh air, open the window, and then just observe the natural rhythm of your breath. Observe nature. Observe what's going on, right? Really be attentive, be aware. And then trust that what is going to arise out of that state of pure presence, pure being, is what's going to be the best next step for you. Right? There's no need to overthink it. There's no need to plan it. There's no need to live in that state of imagination of the future. Not even to speak of this ridiculous notion of the past. Both valuable, right? Both have their place, but my mission for me, it seems like it's living from a state of embodied presence. This is the greatest lesson that the 5-MeO DMT has opened me up with. And this sensation of I am. Pure I amness. This is what it's about. Not I am this, not I am that, but just I am. Just I am. You are the embodiment of that. Right? Tat svamasi, thou art that. There's nothing more to do. And somehow another aspect also of the 5-MeO DMT experiences, it did feel like there was an energetic release, for sure. Like it did feel like deeply healing, deeply aligning. And the most beautiful part about it is like my job in that session was just to surrender. I didn't have to do anything. Just to open myself up, and then let go, surrender myself. And then basically what was happening and what is happening at the moment, it's like life is aligning itself. Because there's no friction anymore, there's no tension anymore between me that wants to control and life that is flowing. That is dissolving. And then it's just like it's life aligning with itself and finding this natural flow, this natural rhythm, this natural, authentic pureness of embodied presence. And how easy is that, you know? How simple is that? Well, it doesn't seem to be that easy. It doesn't seem to be that simple to just let go, right? To just surrender, to just give yourself up, give yourself fully to life. And still it's a practice. So it's a practice to cultivate that sense of surrender, that sense of presence, and that sense of like, yeah, being guided and detaching from thought. A friend of mine also recently was sharing with me a new practice of his. He was like getting from Angelo Di Lullo or something, and he was talking about just identifying thought. And Angelo Di Lullo is also in his guided meditations. I'm doing them at the moment. It was like, and that thought is just it's just what's arising. So we are not neglecting thought, but we're detaching, right? As Nisargadatta said, not identifying with mind. So then the content of the mind is, it doesn't matter anymore. So, yeah, to conclude, I'll have to jump off soon as there's going to be a community call in our community, the Psychedelic Actualization community. It's called Path to Purpose Community. We're going to have a live community call, the first one, very, very soon, in just about 15 minutes, where we come together weekly on a Sunday, and we're just gonna be coming together and working with what's present, especially regarding purpose. It's a space for people who've had psychedelic experiences and who want to find direction, clarity, and purpose afterwards, and align their life with their psychedelic insights. It's a wonderful space to be, and we're gonna have that community call every single week. There's a link in the video description where you can either book a call with me to discuss how and when you want to join, or you can just directly join as a founding member to join these calls. Birth of New Earth is in that community. Don't stress yourself by what you're here until you're done. Thanks, bro. I'll jump off at time as I'll have to be somewhere else at around 8, so 8 p.m. CET. So from 7 to 8 is a good time for our call. But yeah, I just enjoyed this live stream very much. Joel is asking, do you perceive through the concepts of belief that people lose their awareness or perception of what is bliss? Wow, that is an interesting formulation of the question. Do you perceive through the concepts of belief that people lose their awareness or perception of what is bliss? Yeah, oftentimes. If I understand that statement correctly, that oftentimes it is our self-constructed beliefs and our constructs that we close ourselves off, right? We tell ourselves all these stories, all these beliefs. Also, it's an interesting question. Inquire into that sense of like, okay, what is a belief? What is a belief actually? What is a concept actually? But definitely these concepts and beliefs, which might be also called just thoughts, which we then attach to, we get lost in ignorance. We get lost in this cloud of, well, in this fog that we find ourselves in which we can't even see clearly what is, what we are, right here and right now. Because I found that bliss right? The perception of bliss, as you mentioned, it's just a natural consequence of the realization of who you are, of this sensation which the 5-MeO DMT talks a lot to, which is called Satchitananda, right? Existence or truth is consciousness or awareness, which is bliss. So from that state of I am, from that state of beingness, from that self-realized state of being, of you knowing the source of your being, of who you truly are, the natural reaction of that is just bliss. There is also a deep recognition of love that came through in the 5-MeO DMT experiences, just a deep recognition of that love of existence. It's so yummy. It's so tasty. But also it's tough. It's tough to let all of those concepts and beliefs go. Because how deep these concepts and these beliefs are running, most of the times we don't even realize. Like the deepest layers of our being are related to concepts and beliefs. Like, do I believe that I am this body is a deep one, for example. Like for me, I haven't transcended that belief. Like on a day-to-day basis, it's a strong belief that I am this body. Right? And that belief, that conception is separating me from that bliss, from that state of freedom and liberation and just presence. So let's talk more, let's take one talk more. Tap into the space, send a prayer, sing one more song, and then I'm gonna jump off to the community call. Om Namah Shivaya. Mahadeva. Wonderful. What are we gonna sing? Thank you for your insight and sharing your stream. Thanks, Joel, for tuning in again. Yeah, I love this stream. And thank you, everybody, for being here, for hearing me, for being present, for looking into your own experience and into your own life. It's magical. So let the way of the heart shine through. This is what feels like is happening for me, this cracking open of the heart through 5-MeO DMT. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart shine through. Love upon love upon love, hearts are beating as one. Light upon light upon light, shining as bright as the sun. So let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of your heart shine through. Let the way of the heart, let the way of the heart, let the way of your heart shine through. Love upon love upon love, all hearts are beating as one. Light upon light upon light, shining as bright as the sun. Light upon light upon light, all disappear into one. We are united. We are already whole. We are already complete. We are already one. There's nothing we can do to separate from that oneness. Thank you everybody for being here. Deeply enjoyed this live stream. Deeply enjoyed this processing of the 5 MEO DMT experiences throughout the last week. It was a deeply intimate, personal, opening process. And as I said, the links are in the video description to join our community. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be live calls. For example, right now I'm jumping off into live call with the community. Birth of New Earth is going to be there. He's the first member. Thanks, bro, for being there. And otherwise, I will see you all in the next post, the next video, the next DM, whatever way we're going to connect through. I love you all. Namaste.